Alright, let's talk about Bleach Rebirth of Souls, because this game does not play around when it comes to character variety. Every fighter in the roster feels like their own little universe, with distinct movesets that really set them apart. You're not just picking your favorite character based on look gigs, okay, maybe a little, but you have to consider their strengths, weaknesses, and how they actually feel in battle. Some are speed demons with insane mobility, while others are heavy hitters that can chunk health bars, but maybe at the cost of their own. Yeah, there are characters here that can hurt themselves if you're not careful. That kind of chaos? We love to see it. But let's be real, like with any fighting game, not all characters are created equal. There is a meta, and finding that sweet spot between power, survivability, and usability is key if you want to win more than just casual matches. Some fighters might seem mid at first but shine in the right hands, while others are just so cracked that they dominate no matter what. So in today's video, we're diving into the character landscape of Bleach Rebirth of Souls. Who's worth learning, who's ruling the battlefield, and what you need to know before locking in. Let's get into it. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking characters in Bleach Rebirth of Souls. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
My friends, only 0.1% of viewers subscribe. If you like this type of content, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you in advance for your support.
The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Kaname Tosen, Coyote Stark, Sayela Poro Grant, and Kenpachi Zaraki. You ever pick a character and immediately regret your life choices? Yeah, welcome to the D tier. This is where dreams go to die and hope is just a distant memory. These characters are so underwhelming, it almost feels like the developers forgot they existed halfway through development. Honestly, if you're trying to climb the ranks in Bleach Rebirth of Souls, steering clear of this tier is the best advice anyone can give you. Let's start with Kaname Tosen. On paper, his mechanics sound kinda cool, right? But the higher your rank, the more obvious it becomes that his whole kit falls apart the moment your opponent remembers how to block. His main gimmick is supposed to confuse or overwhelm, but the counter is literally just be patient and play solid defense. That's it. Suddenly all his edge and intimidation vanish like they never existed. It's frustrating really because there was so much potential. Then there's Coyote Stark, and oh boy, what a letdown. He feels like the definition of style over substance. Even if you put in the effort to learn his moves, the reward is barely there. His damage output is shockingly low, his attacks are slow, and do not even get me started on his sidesteps. They're borderline unusable. Add in some seriously bland special abilities and you're basically playing on hard mode for no reason. It's almost like he's fighting underwater while everyone else is sprinting. Sayela Poro Grantis and Kenpachi Zaraki round out this misery party. Sayo might have a few tricks, but they all crumble once you realize his Konpaku, spirit energy restores, is laughably low. Lose the early game and it is basically game over. As for Kenpachi, it is honestly sad. You want to love him because, hey, he's Kenpachi, right? But his range is pitiful, and his attacks are so predictable that anyone who's even semi-conscious can dodge them. If your opponent knows how to hold back on their stick, Kenpachi is just swinging at air. Not exactly the terror he should be. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Izuru Kira, Jin Ichimaru, Shuhei Hisagi, Yasutora Sado, Asuru Chad, Sajin Komamura, and Uryu Ishida. Alright, picture this. You're cruising through ranked matches in Bleach Rebirth of Souls, feeling good, when suddenly your opponent locks in one of those characters. You know, the ones that make you go, really? You picked him? Welcome to the C tier, where hope flickers but rarely catches fire. Let's kick things off with Izuru Kira. Now, don't get me wrong, Kira's not totally useless. He's got a clean, straight up playstyle, and if you're new to the game, he might feel kind of reliable. But once you realize his unblockable attack is as telegraphed as a flashing neon sign, the illusion crumbles. Predict it, dodge it, punish it. That's the whole dance with Izuru. Beyond that one trick, he just doesn't have the tools to shake things up. Next up is Jin Ichimaru, the king of almost cool. His moveset looks deadly on paper, especially with those close range lunges, but man, is he predictable. Half the time you're throwing out an attack, you're praying it connects, because if it doesn't, you're wide open and your opponent's already halfway through a counter combo. In a game that rewards smart punishes, Jin's risk to reward ratio just doesn't cut it. Shuhei Hisagi is a bit of a heartbreaker. There's potential there, especially when he hits Awakening mode. He gets way more aggressive and flashy, and honestly, that version of him could almost sneak into B tier, but his early game? Painfully slow. If you can only knock out one Kompaku before popping Soul Break, you're basically handing your opponent a free pass to scale into their win condition. It's rough. Yasutora Sado, also known as Chad, our gentle giant with Fists of Fury. He's got this one flashy move where he charges his impact gauge from across the map and, if timed perfectly, nukes a third of your enemy's HP. That sounds awesome, right? Except, that's all he's got. Once you block or sidestep it, Chad becomes a walking punching bag. No combos, no pressure, just vibes and missed opportunities. Let's talk about Sajin Komamura. His spiritual move too? Absolutely terrifying. The range, the damage, it's got boss level energy. But here's the kicker, the rest of his kit is just meh. You can't rely on a single move to carry an entire match, and when he hits his awakened state, you'd expect a power spike, right? Nope. He ends up feeling like a watered down version of Renji, and trust me, that is not a compliment. And then there's Uryu Ishida, our resident zoner. On paper, he seems viable. He's got range, he's got speed, but the moment someone gets in his face, he folds like a cheap lawn chair. His quick attack doesn't apply any real pressure, so you're basically stuck praying your opponent respects your space. And let's be real, in Rebirth of Souls, no one plays nice. So yeah, C tier is kind of like the almost club. These characters aren't completely hopeless, but they've got glaring flaws that stop them from being reliable picks. You can win with them, sure, but you'll have to work twice as hard for half the payoff. Unless you're looking for a challenge or trying to prove a point, maybe leave these guys for casuals and meme matches. But hey, if you do main one of these characters and you're making it work, props to you. You're either cracked or incredibly patient, or maybe a little bit of both. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Toshiro Hitsugaya, Rangiku Matsumoto, Yoruichi Shihoin, Rukia Kuchiki, Shinji Hirako, Ichigo Kurosaki, Grimjo Jiga Jaquez, and Enoitora Gilga. Alright, let's dive into the world of Bleach Rebirth of Souls and talk about the B tier characters where things can get a little tricky. These guys can still hold their ground with the right amount of practice, but you're definitely going to need to put in some extra effort if you want to maximize their potential. So let's break it down and see why these characters fall just below the top tier, but can still be a lot of fun to play. First up, let's talk about Toshiro Hitsugaya. Now, Toshiro has a terrifying level 3 transformation that can quickly take you from not looking good to I'm about to dominate. But here's the catch, his backdash is pretty terrible. It's not just bad, it's questionable at best. You're left wide open to attacks when trying to defend, so unless you've got top tier movement skills, you're going to be eating hits left and right. Still, with some practice, he can definitely be a force to be reckoned with. Then there's Rangiku Matsumoto. She's like Uryu Ishida's long-range cousin, but just a bit better. Her zoning ability is on point, which is great for keeping your opponent at a distance. The downside, she doesn't have a reliable breaker move, which means you might find yourself struggling to deal with certain aggressive characters. She's still a solid pick if you like to play it safe from far away, but her lack of a decent breaker definitely holds her back. Yoruichi Shihoin is another one of those characters who seems like she should be amazing but has a lot of small drawbacks. Her rapid jab is great for quick pressure, but when it comes to other areas of combat, she kind of falters. For one, her breaker is pretty weak, and when it comes to range, she'll often lose out to characters who can zone better. Basically, you have to work a lot harder to cover her weaknesses compared to other characters who have more balanced kits. Now, Rukia Kuchiki, despite some nerfs, is still a pretty solid pick. Her 7-frame quick attack keeps up the pressure, and that's a huge advantage in a game like this. If she still had her fireball, she'd probably be in the A tier, no question. But even without it, she can still hold her own, applying pressure while looking for opportunities to strike. Shinji Hirako is another character who feels kind of meh when compared to others. With Ikkaku in the mix, Shinji just doesn't feel as necessary. Both characters heavily rely on counters to gain an edge, but Ikkaku's breaker is better at beating counters, which gives him a much stronger advantage. Shinji definitely has his moments, but he's somewhat outclassed by other characters with better counter-breaking tools. As for Ichigo Kurosaki, the classic poster boy of Bleach, he's the jack of all trades, but not really the master of any. His fundamentals are solid, and his Bankai version gives him better pressure and control in the early stages of a match. But as you progress, you'll notice that he doesn't quite excel in one specific area, making him a bit predictable if your opponent knows how to deal with his style. Grimjo Jiga Jaquez, on the other hand, is fast and has high chip potential, which sounds awesome, right? But here's the issue. When Halibel is around, Grimmjow kind of pales in comparison. Halibel has better normals, better damage output, and way more reliable combo routes, leaving Grimmjow in the dust. He's still fast, but he doesn't quite have the same punch as some of the top tier characters. Finally, Noitora Gilga is a character with decent damage and range, but he's a bit of a one-trick pony. His normals are solid, but he's got weak Oki, that's your post-knockdown game by the way, and his neutral play is lacking. Combine that with a mediocre breaker, and it's clear that Noitora has a lot of holes in his game. If you like to rely on raw power, he might work for you, but against more well-rounded characters, you might struggle. So there you have it. B-tier characters aren't bad, but they certainly come with their fair share of challenges. You'll need to put in the work to really get the best out of them, but if you enjoy the challenge and know how to cover their weaknesses, they can definitely lead you to victory. Just remember, when you're playing B-tier, it's all about the grind. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Shigakuni Genryusai Yamamoto, Byakuya Kuchiki, Kisuke Urahara, Ulquiorra Shifa, Ikaku Madarame, Sasuke Aizen, Asu Aizen, Shunsui Kyoraku, Miyuri Kurotsuchi, and Dangai Ichigo. Alright, let's talk about some of the hidden gems in Bleach Rebirth of Souls. We're diving deep into characters that sit in the A tier, who might not be the absolute kings of the meta, but trust me, they've got some serious power under the hood if you know how to use them right. First up, we have Shigakuni Genryusai Yamamoto. Now, if you can master controlling his self-damage, which is easier said than done, I know, this guy can absolutely wreck your opponents. His basic attacks already take out a chunk of your opponent's health, think 20% or more, making him an absolute nightmare to deal with when played well. Sure, he's got a little bit of a learning to curve with managing his own HP, but once you've got that down, his damage output is just off the charts. Then we have Byakuya Kuchiki. This guy is basically the definition of easy to pick up, hard to put down. Seriously, he's one of the most beginner-friendly characters in the game. Byakuya dominates the neutral game with ease, and you'll find that his flow can stomp a good portion of the roster. His popularity in online play is a testament to just how effective he is for players who want to climb ranks without too much of a hassle. Simple, yet effective, and that's what makes him dangerous. Next, let's talk about Kisuke Urahara. This guy's combos are absolutely deadly, but he's not a pick for the faint of heart. Kisuke requires some serious execution skills to really shine, but once you get his rhythm down, he's capable of pulling off combos with his spiritual move 1 that can deal 50% or more of your opponent's health in one go. The payoff for mastering him is huge, but expect a bit of a learning curve before you can fully tap into his potential. Ulquiorra Shifa is another character who stands out for his reawakening ability. It's a bit of a slow build-up to reach his reawakening state, but once you're there, his damage output is absolutely insane. We're talking about the kind of numbers that can wipe out your opponent almost instantly. If you're patient enough to wait for that power spike, Ulquiorra is a game changer. Moving on to Ikaku Madarame. If you're the kind of player who loves to react quickly and punish mistakes, then Ikaku is your guy. His entire moveset revolves around counters, and these counters are particularly useful because they beat breakers and grab attacks, two of the most commonly used moves in Rebirth of Souls. If you've got solid reaction time and a good eye for parrying, Ikaku will reward you with some seriously satisfying victories. Then there's Sasuke Aizen, who, let's be honest, has one of the most terrifying kits in the game. The man's got an answer for almost everything, and his ability to bounce back thanks to his reawakening makes him a threat no matter how much damage he's taken. If you're looking for a character with an abundance of tricks and the potential to counter nearly any playstyle, Aizen's your guy. Shunsui Kyoraku brings a more strategic approach to the table. Not only does he deal insane guard gauge damage, but his awakening encourages a playstyle that's all about outsmarting your opponent. It's less about brute force and more about crafting clever tactics and catching your opponent off guard. The more creative you get with Shunsui, the better your chances of pulling off sneaky victories. Last but definitely not least, we've got Miyuri Kurotsuchi. Miyuri is the quintessential setup character. His poison bombs created amazing follow-up opportunities. These bombs not only deal immediate damage, but also stack a nice damage over time effect, making him an absolute nightmare for anyone caught in his traps. If you enjoy playing a more calculated, methodical game, Miyuri's got your back. And don't forget Dangai Ichigo. While unlocking him can take a little grind, he's totally worth it. With insane normals and a grab that's faster than lightning, he's a unique fighter who doesn't even need an awakening to be deadly. And let's not forget, he's got a guaranteed kill with 3 Keycon moves. If you can get this guy in the right setup, he'll easily make your opponents regret their life choices. So, whether you're a beginner looking for an easy-to-learn powerhouse or a more advanced player seeking to master the nuances of a tricky character, the A tier has something for everyone. These characters might not be as flashy as their S tier counterparts, but they're more than capable of taking you to the top if you put in the work. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Soifon, Ichigo Kurosaki, Bankai, Renji Abarai, Keien Shiba, Tyr Halibel, and Nelliel 2 Odell Schwank. Alright, let's dive into the absolute juggernauts of Bleach Rebirth of Souls. These characters are basically the equivalent of a wrecking ball. Once they're in the game, it's over for the other team. You'll find most players rocking one of these top tier characters because their movesets are just that good. And honestly, it feels a little unfair sometimes. But hey, it's a game, and we all love some overpowered action, right? Starting with Soifon, she's like a ninja on steroids. What makes her so dangerous is how fast she is. I'm talking lightning speed, folks. On top of that, she can build meter like nobody else. Her attacks are ridiculously quick and have long range reach, and most of them are safe on block. So even if you screw up, you're still golden. You can't just punish her like you can with some other characters. It feels almost unfair how good she is. If you can master her combos and meter management, good luck stopping her. Now, moving on to Ichigo Kurosaki's Bankai form. If you're the type to land long combos and know your timing down to a T, Ichigo's Bankai version is your ticket to victory. His combos are insane. They last so long and trust me, deal crazy damage. Especially if you're mixing in Getsuga sign consistently, you're looking at a combo that can wipe out entire health bars with ease. If you get a good combo going with him, the other player might as well just wave the white flag. Then we have Renji Abarai. His awakening form is an absolute nightmare in the early seconds. Seriously, if you're not careful, it can feel like you're trapped in an endless loop of chip damage and high output attacks. His range is massive, and once he hits that awakening mode, good luck even trying to get a hit in. If you don't have a solid counter, like Ikkaku, you're in for a tough ride. Renji just doesn't let up once he gets going. Keien Shiba is another one of those characters that can just explode with damage once you know how to optimize his combos. The real kicker, his recovery time is crazy low, which means he's virtually unpunishable for most of the cast. You can spam attacks with ease, and most characters just can't do anything about it. As long as you've got your combo flow down, Keien is just a powerhouse that will leave your opponent in the dust. Then there's Tyr Halibel, and let me tell you, when she hits Awakening, she becomes an absolute monster. Her spiritual move is something else. It's incredibly versatile and can be used multiple times in mid-difficulty combos, which racks up the damage quickly. You're basically building a damage train with her, and once you get that train rolling, there's little stopping her. In her awakened form, Halibel goes from being a solid character to a devastating one that demands your full attention. Next up is Nelliel 2 Odell Schwank. She's similar to Ichigo's Bankai in terms of combo potential, but what sets her apart is the low-risk starters she has at her disposal. These moves can set up some seriously devastating touch of death combos. If you're good with timing and can chain those moves together, you're looking at a character that can instantly erase your opponent's health bar. She's a total beast in the hands of a skilled player, no doubt about it. And then, of course, there's the fact that these characters aren't just about flashy combos, they're all about strategy too. Each of them has a unique set of strengths and weaknesses that, when mastered, can make the difference between a win and a loss. But if you're on the other side of that damage, it's going to feel like you've just been steamrolled. So yeah, they're the top tier for a reason. In a nutshell, these characters are the ones you'll see at the top of the leaderboards, and for good reason. Whether you're playing against them or as them, it's an experience that will keep you on your toes. The real question is, are you ready to take on the S tier giants? The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.